Good afternoon, this is Sarah, your imperfect carnivore in the UK, with a quick video on should we all be doing the carnivore diet? Well, every now and then I like to go onto Google and type in carnivore diet risks, benefits, that kind of thing, and I want to see who's trying to disparage us this month. And this month it's Wales Online. Now, Wales is a part of the UK. We have England, Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland, and they have decided to write an article. Let me put you the headline on here first. Now, this headline says, actually I'm really worried about the carnivore diet after reading this article, so I think we should make sure we're not in the category of people that they're talking about. Experts warn. Experts, I love that. Actually, this time it's just one expert. Expert warns that some people need to avoid the new carnivore diet trend. So if you're someone that's just contemplating turning your life around and getting fixed for once and for all on the carnivore diet, you might have a little look on Google. I hope you don't go that way. I hope you go the way of Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Anyone else you can think of, Sean Baker, Lisa Wiedemann, all of them. There's so many people talking about it that I would trust with my life. Dr. Paul Mason, the list goes on and on. But this expert knows better. This expert is called Rob Barton. Who is Rob Barton? I've tried to look him up on the internet. I can't actually find him anywhere. I can't find him under nutrition or anything. If you can find anything on this guy or a photo of this guy, please tell me and I will look into him a bit more, because he seems to know what he's talking about. Rob Barton. So when you look at this bit, it says, Rob Barton of Factory Weights. He's got all his information from a company called Factory Weights. So you either read an article by them, or he's an employee of them, or the owner of Factory Weights. Click on Factory Weights. What do we get? An advert for commercial gym solutions. That he must know what he's talking about. So let's get going with what he has to say. Let's listen to him. First of all, let's have a look at... It's got to be the least convincing article I have seen. It was completely random, full of misinformation. But there's going to be a lot of people... I do know people who would look at that article and instantly say no to the carnivore diet just from the headline. Let's check out the headline again. Expert warns that some people need to avoid new carnivore diet trend. And underneath it says, carnivore diet can have some detrimental effects for a number of people, including those who suffer from kidney issues, heart disease, or even some mental health conditions. Now, I know a lot of people. I can think of some people right now that would see that and go, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Those conditions run in my family. I'm concerned I may have heart disease. I'm not going anywhere near that carnivore diet. All because of Rob Barton at Factory Weights Commercial Gym Solutions. But anyway, let's keep going and see what interesting things he has to say. He says you shouldn't do it if you have heart disease or high cholesterol. Well, for a start, I think it's pretty safe to say that it's very, very, very debatable, not debatable, debatable, whether we should actually have our cholesterol lowered at all. And the fact that the powers that shouldn't be are trying to get it down, and it's now being linked to conditions such as cancer and dementia and certain strokes, that you think, we need to find out more information about that. But I believe, after following the doctors that I do trust for the last 10 years, that low cholesterol is not good. So actually, he's now saying in this article, saturated fat, bad. And it's not good if you already have high cholesterol. Come on, guys. You can't still believe that. For every article online now saying that you should lower your cholesterol, there's another one saying that's bullshit. Come on. This... Not only is he just the most unconvincing expert from Factory Weights, he's now saying that we shouldn't eat saturated fat because of our high cholesterol. People are urgently advised to avoid this diet to prevent further cardiovascular complications. Okay, so a lot of people are going to believe that. That's why I'm cross. The people that follow this channel are going to already know this guy is a crony and everything he says is crap. But what concerns me is that people will go onto Google these days, and the more this way of eating picks up, the more of these articles are going to be written to stop people. And it works because most people are confused anyway about what to eat, and this just makes them more confused. So they say, sod it, I'm just going to eat everything and keep my fingers crossed. Next thing he said, stabilize the blood sugar. Now this is where he's using double speak. This sounds like a vegan's reading it to me, because vegans quite often use double speak. They will say something and then they'll say the opposite, and then they'll say, oh, it's not to do with that. Oh, it's not to do with that. I'm not doing it for that. This says, a big selling point is that it stabilizes blood sugar. Great. So he's acknowledged that eating the carnivore diet stabilizes blood sugar, but then he goes on to say, but relying on animal products leads to poor blood sugar. Hang on a minute, you said a big selling point is it stabilizes blood sugar, but eating a lot of animal products leads to poor blood sugar. Which one? It can't be both. Which one is it? I mean, I should imagine that most people haven't even got down to that part of the article, but you'd like to think that anyone with any kind of critical or thinking brain at all is going to look at that and say, well, which one is it? Because you've just contradicted. And then he just goes on to say lack of fibre, blah, blah, blah. But does it stabilise blood sugar or not? I tell you it will. Because last summer I was very interested in my blood sugar. I did lots of videos. I could do you one now. In fact, I'm now regretting that I haven't got my glucose meter with me right this second. I'll do a short tomorrow with my blood sugar. Okay, so tomorrow have a look for a video about my blood sugar and I will do it live on TV. Okay, whenever I've taken time out from carnivore, my blood sugars have crept up, and then when I do carnivore, they've crept down. So in my opinion, it does stabilize blood sugars, and this whole eating animal products raising it is just rubbish, absolute rubbish. I also don't like the way he's used the word the new trending, because you know, as soon as they use the word trending or fad, people are going to switch off. There's nothing trending or fad about feeding your body the correct diet, the proper human diet it is supposed to eat. Trending. Then he goes on, pregnant and breastfeeding women. Now, obviously I'm not a doctor or a scientist, or any form of nutritionist. I'm just someone in the UK who likes to eat the carnivore diet to feel better. So I'm not going to advise any pregnant or breastfeeding person to try this. But all I can say on the subject is I've been following Kelly Hogan, look her up, I've been following her for 9.5 years. She's been going longer than that. And during that time, during the time she's been on it, she's had 3 healthy pregnancies entirely on the carnivore diet. Her births were brilliant, and her children are the most down-to-earth, beautiful, healthiest children I've ever seen in my life. That's all I'm saying about that. So I'm not recommending it to pregnant or breastfeeding women. I'm saying seek out the people that did it and decide for yourself. Crap. Apparently lacking. Lacking in what? Amazing. So if you're pregnant, it's absolutely, completely and utterly fine to just eat Jaffa cakes for the whole entire pregnancy. But as soon as you're eating just fatty, delicious meat full of amino acids and egg yolks full of everything needed to make a chick, it's not enough. I'd like to also say that most women have fat on their body, and most of that fat, all of our nutrition is stored in our fat. So when we do get minerals and vitamins, where do you think they're stored? The fat. You could probably fast. I'm not suggesting anyone does this, but if you were a very, very, very overweight woman who got pregnant, you could probably fast for some of the time and get away with it with all the nutrients in your fat. That's not a recommendation. That's just me chatting about how it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. Why shouldn't the proper human diet that we're supposed to be eating be good in pregnant and breastfeeding? Like I said though, I'm not recommending it to you. If you are someone that's considering getting pregnant and breastfeeding, it's up to you to do your research and decide for yourself if you think it's safe. Next thing, IBS, IBD. Conditions could worsen. So even though you're eating the food that's suitable for your body, your gut problems could get worse. Well, I haven't found that. In 10 years, nearly 10 years now of trying the carnivore and then taking a break from it and then trying it again, my gut situation is 100% on meat, and it's not when I'm not. There are entire Facebook groups dedicated to people that have healed. There's a lot of people talking about how it's healed their Crohn's and their IBD and things like that. This is noise, isn't it? It's just fluff. It's just making shit up. Athletes, unsuitable for those in peak physical condition. Well, that's a worry already, because if you're in peak physical condition, then you haven't got any health problems. Then why is it dangerous for you? Okay, you might have some adaptation problems. You might have to have a couple of months of doing lower activities until your body's geared up to run on fat properly, and then you're off. What about Charles Washington? He's done, if you don't know who Charles Washington is, he was the guy that originally set up the Facebook group Zeroing In on Health. And he has, while I was on there, he does at least one full marathon a year. I think it's actually more likely several full marathons a year, never hitting a wall. And as Anthony Chafee says, he doesn't even hit a wall. He actually, I have heard him say this the other day, brilliant. I'm way past the wall. I'm past the wall. That really got me excited. Not just looking at Anthony Chafee, but I thought, wow, imagine having so much energy that you are past the wall. The wall is so far behind you, you can't even see it anymore. That got me excited. I added that to my list of reasons to do it. Mental health conditions. Well, I can only really comment, well, I've seen thousands of videos of people saying they've got better, but I can only really comment on my brother. My brother suffered from a mental health condition for 10 years, hasn't worked for most of that. And then about 3 months ago, he got a bit low carb. And then I think it was 2 months ago, he went to full carnivore. He was struggling into work, but now he's fine. And when I message him in the morning, he's not crying anymore. Every morning, my brother, who is 46 years old, cried in the morning until about 11. Then the crying would stop and it would just go resort down to puffing and panting and smoking constantly. And then by about 1, 2 in the afternoon, he could just about drag his sorry backside out of the house. He's got this job a few months ago before he started carnivore. Let's full disclosure. But he did say that it's getting easier and easier and easier to go out in the morning. And when I message him in the morning, he sounds like my brother. Normally, I wouldn't dare message him first thing in the morning, because generally first thing in the morning, he's actually waiting for an ambulance to turn up because he's contemplating suicide. And now he's not. He's even now on dating apps, chatting up other carnivore females. So from my personal point of view, mental health improves on carnivore diet. I've seen it, and I've seen thousands of videos in the last 10 years of people that have fixed their anxiety and their mental health problems, and they don't want to kill themselves anymore. So this Rob Barton, whoever he is, can do one when it comes to mental health. Children, adolescents and the elderly is the last bit he's talked about. Well, as with pregnant and breastfeeding, I personally am not going to recommend for children, even though I personally myself would totally feed my child a carnivorous diet. Because I am not a doctor or a scientist or a this or that or the other, I'm not going to recommend it. But the elderly, my goodness me, if there is one group of people who would benefit 1,000,000% with bells on it, is the elderly. And if you want convincing on that, check out Carnivore Pensioner channel and Old Guy Carnivore channel, because those two guys are both in their 70s and they have just restarted their lives. When most people, my mum obviously passed away at 71 a couple of years ago. These days, a lot of people in their 70s are pretty much planning their funeral. But these two guys, Carnivore pensioner and old guy carnivore, their lives have just restarted. They have got nothing wrong. The doctors are just baffled. If they were on any medications, they're not now. They've lost any weight, but also lost their inflammation, any problems. They're thinking clearer than they've done in years. But don't do it if you're a pensioner. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous. Don't restart your life. And I think that's really insulting, actually. I'm going to rant now. I think it's very insulting to say to a pensioner of maybe 60, 70 or 80, don't do it. They're already, these days, I mean, the life expectancy at the moment is going back down again. I believe humans are actually supposed to live well into the hundreds, but because of all the bad dietary advice and the bad medications that people are taking, this has gradually come down to the point now where people are dying in their 70s. And how dare Rob Barton of Weight Solutions, whatever it is, factory weight gym, commercial gym solutions, how dare he say to these elderly people, just give up, just carry on the way you're going. You've probably got another couple of years in you, but it's way more dangerous to just eat the proper human diet. How rude. I think that's very insulting. So now the elderly are going to read the article and go, I better not do that. My daughter is thriving doing this, but that Rob Barton creature said me not to do it. So I'm not going to do it. I think that's really disrespectful. And how this Rob Barton geezer can actually sleep at night is beyond me. So that ended up being 2 rants in one day. But I just thought, expert. If there's any reason now to scrap the word expert from your life, it's now this. Because this is the least convincing, most ridiculous article disparaging the carnivore diet that I've ever seen. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's insulting and patronising and downright ridiculously wrong. That's all I want to say. I'm now going to run this back and edit it and put some things over the top. You have an amazing evening, or wherever you are in your day. Enjoy yourself. And just, yeah, by the way, I'm on day 79 of no seed oils. So 78 days have passed. I'm on day 79. So I know on my app this morning it said 78, but that's the number of days that I've passed. I am clean of seed oils for 79 days. When I get to 90, I'll be doing a video on that. And just eat your meat, drink your water and thrive. And don't listen to Rob Barton. He's a knobhead. Okay. See you later, guys. Take care. Bye.